Every NBA fan has asked this question at least once. What if? What if one injury never happened? What if one draft pick had gone differently? What if one superstar got just one more chance? The NBA we know today wasn't inevitable. Some of basketball's biggest moments were shaped by tiny decisions, unfortunate injuries, or tragedies that changed the course of history forever. Today, we're exploring 7 what-if stories that could have completely changed the NBA. And by the time we reach number 1, you might start wondering if the greatest career in basketball history was the one we never got to see. Number 7. What if Greg Oden stayed healthy? When the Portland Trail Blazers selected Greg Oden with the first overall pick in the 2007 NBA draft, many scouts believed they had found the next dominant franchise center. That decision meant passing on a skinny 18-year-old forward named Kevin Durant. At the time, it wasn't considered outrageous. Oden had been one of the most highly regarded center prospects in years, combining size, defense, and rim protection in a way that franchises rarely find. But before his NBA career could truly begin, injuries took over. Knee problems limited him almost immediately. Across multiple seasons with Portland, he played only 105 regular season games before his time with the team effectively came to an end. Meanwhile, Kevin Durant developed into one of the greatest scorers in NBA history. Today, people often call Portland's decision one of the biggest draft mistakes ever. But here's the real question. What if Greg Oden had actually stayed healthy? Would Portland have built its own dynasty? Would Kevin Durant's career have unfolded completely differently? We'll never know. Number 6. What if Penny Hardaway reached his prime? During the mid-1990s, Penny Hardaway wasn't just another young star. Many believed he had the talent to become the next face of the NBA. At 6'7", Penny combined elite court vision, smooth ball handling, and effortless scoring. Alongside Shaquille O'Neal, he helped lead the Orlando Magic to the 1995 NBA Finals and looked like the foundation of basketball's next great dynasty. But that future never arrived. After Shaq left for the Lakers in 1996, injuries began to derail Penny's career. Recurring knee problems gradually took away the explosiveness that had made him nearly impossible to guard. Instead of watching one of basketball's brightest young stars reach his peak, fans were left wondering what could have been. Because if Penny had stayed healthy, the Magic might never have needed to rebuild. And NBA history could have looked very different. Number 5. What if Tracy McGrady had the right team? Some NBA stars are remembered for championships. Tracy McGrady is remembered for something else: potential. At his best, T-Mac was one of the most unstoppable scorers in basketball. He won 2 consecutive scoring titles, made 7 All-Star teams, and could take over a game in ways few players ever could. His famous 13 points in 33 seconds against the Spurs remains one of the greatest scoring explosions in NBA history. But despite all his talent, McGrady never reached the NBA Finals during his prime. In Orlando, injuries constantly disrupted the roster around him. In Houston, he teamed up with Yao Ming, but both players battled injuries at the worst possible times. Every time it looked like the Rockets could make a serious playoff run, something went wrong. As the years passed, one of the league's brightest stars slowly faded without ever getting the championship opportunity many believed he deserved. So here's the question. What if Tracy McGrady had stayed healthy and finally played on a championship-caliber team? Would we remember him alongside Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade, instead of asking what might have been? Number 4. What if Grant Hill never got injured? Before LeBron James, before Kevin Durant, there was Grant Hill. By the late 1990s, Hill had become one of the NBA's brightest stars. He could score, rebound, pass, and defend at an elite level, making him one of the league's most complete players. Many believed he was destined to become the next global face of basketball after Michael Jordan's era. Then, everything changed. A serious ankle injury during the 2000 playoffs became the turning point of his career. Complications from that injury limited him for years and kept him off the court far more than anyone expected. Instead of watching Grant Hill enter the prime of his career, fans watched him fight simply to stay healthy. He eventually returned and enjoyed a long NBA career, earning respect for his perseverance. But the superstar many expected to dominate an entire generation never truly had the chance. And that's why Grant Hill remains one of basketball's biggest what-if stories. Number 3. What if Brandon Roy had more time? Sometimes greatness doesn't disappear slowly. Sometimes it disappears almost overnight. Brandon Roy entered the NBA in 2006 and immediately looked like a future superstar. He won Rookie of the Year, became a 3-time All-Star, and quickly established himself as the leader of the Portland Trail Blazers. He wasn't the fastest player, he wasn't the most athletic, but his basketball IQ, footwork, and ability to take over close games made him one of the league's most respected guards. Then, chronic knee problems changed everything. The cartilage in his knees deteriorated so severely that every season became a battle just to stay on the court. By the age of just 27, Roy's prime was effectively over. For Portland fans, it felt like watching a championship dream disappear before it ever had a chance to begin. And even today, many NBA fans still ask the same question: what if Brandon Roy had simply been given a healthy career? Number 2. What if Len Bias played in the NBA? Some what-if stories begin with an injury. This one begins with a tragedy. In the 1986 NBA draft, the Boston Celtics selected Len Bias with the 2nd overall pick. Bias wasn't just another top prospect. Many scouts believed he had the athleticism, scoring ability, and competitive mindset to become one of the league's next great superstars. Some even saw him as the perfect player to help extend Boston's championship window alongside legends like Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish. But just 2 days after being drafted, Len Bias died from a cocaine-induced cardiac arrhythmia. He never played a single NBA game. His death shocked the basketball world and remains one of the most heartbreaking moments in sports history. The Celtics continued to compete, but many believe Bias could have helped bridge the gap between Boston's aging championship core and the next generation. Of course, no one can say with certainty what his career would have become, but that's exactly why his story remains one of the NBA's greatest mysteries. Not because we know what would have happened, but because we'll never have the chance to find out. Number 1. What if Derrick Rose never got injured? Some players change the game, others change an entire city. Derrick Rose did both. Born and raised in Chicago, Rose arrived with enormous expectations after being selected 1st overall in the 2008 NBA draft by his hometown Bulls. He didn't take long to deliver. In just his 3rd season, he averaged 25 points and nearly 8 assists per game, leading Chicago to the league's best regular season record. At only 22 years old, Derrick Rose became the youngest MVP in NBA history. It felt like the beginning of something special. The Bulls looked ready to challenge Miami's Big Three. Chicago had its hometown hero, and the NBA had its next superstar. Then came April 28, 2012. Late in Game 1 of the first round against the Philadelphia 76ers, Rose planted his left foot on a routine jump stop. His ACL tore. In one moment, everything changed. Although he returned to the NBA, repeated knee injuries prevented him from ever fully regaining the explosive athleticism that had made him nearly unstoppable. He reinvented himself, fought through setbacks, and even produced memorable moments later in his career. But fans never stopped asking the same question. What if that injury never happened? Would Chicago have won a championship? Would Rose have become one of the defining players of his generation? Would the NBA have looked completely different during the 2000s? We'll never know. And maybe that's what makes his story so unforgettable. History is usually told through champions, through MVPs, through banners hanging from arena rafters. But sometimes, the most fascinating stories are the ones that never happened. Greg Oden, Penny Hardaway, Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill, Brandon Roy, Len Bias, Derrick Rose. 7 careers, 7 different paths, and 7 reminders that greatness alone is never enough. Sometimes it's health, sometimes it's timing, sometimes it's simply bad luck. The NBA we know today wasn't guaranteed. A single injury, one draft pick or one unexpected moment could have rewritten basketball history forever. And maybe that's why what-if stories never disappear, because long after the final buzzer sounds, they remind us that the greatest mysteries in sports aren't about what happened, they're about what almost did.